Hi again. I hope that you're taking your lessons well. Let's move forward. Meeting and discussing the content of a website is a very important step when creating a web page for any of your clients. This session begins with a brief, wherein a fictional client explains the goals for setting up her website and defines her target audience. Next, it talks about the presently used marketing materials and current competitors. Following this, you learn how to put the textual content on your website and an estimate of how many images to include on your web pages. Then it explains marketing plans, the role of visual mind maps, and the process of creating visual mind maps. Moving ahead, it explains how web pages can be planned for different contents. Then it explains the process of creating different types of storyboards, creating the rough and final look and feel of the website, etc. Thus, this session sums up the process of creating a wonderful website for your client. Follow these steps and get started.
Now, let's start with a case study, during which we will be creating a website for a fictional client. Let's assume that the client is Miss Meenal Joshi. She's a graphic designer as well as a photographer by profession. Keep it in mind that it's a fictional name. The brief information she has given is as follows. The client is in the advertising business and owns a company named My Vision. She has worked in printing media, corporate identity and flash banner animations. She also organizes events for pottery, painting and photography competitions, workshop for kids, and has a passion for photography in nature and wildlife. Ms. Meenal has briefed you that her services are currently sought by consumer goods manufacturers and distributors, shopping malls, jewelers, and a few private companies. She would like to extend her portfolio of companies and also provide services in new areas. So her target audience list is as follows. Target audience. For Ms. Meenal, the target audience would be 1. Consumer goods manufacturers and distributors, 2. Shopping malls, 3. Jewelry shops, 4. Corporate companies which may need services to develop brand identity or corporate identity for the company. 5. Business seeking stationery designs such as business cards for their employees, receipt and invoice printing, etc., and their advertisements in the form of banners, brochures, etc. 6. Hoteliers where Meenal's photographs could be displayed as frames on the walls. Some of the advertising mediums previously used by the client for marketing purposes are press advertisement, handbills, brochures, business cards. There are several other companies in the market that provide the same services. A study of the competitor's website can further refine the web design strategy. Along with the brief, the client has also provided some material in the form of text, images, photos and animations which wants her target audience to view in her website. Let us review the material. Textual content. The text content that Meenal has provided us contains chunks related to her services and information that you would like to see on the website. You will need to rewrite these contents so as to make it more attractive and polished. The client has also provided 1. Some of the images of the artwork her company has done, photographs which she wants you to put in the gallery. These images will need to be rescaled and optimized for incorporating in the website. It is important to have a marketing plan to attract visitors to the website. For example, the marketing plans could be as follows: seasonal discounts. Print this coupon and get a 5% discount. Save up to 50%. Buy the posters, wallpapers and save up to 50% on the purchase. When a photography course is organized, the students can fill an online form for admission. Post 5 admissions will get a discount up to 20% on the fees. A photography exhibition is organized by the company every year where Miss Meenal's photographs are displayed. All the students who have completed the photography course will get a chance to exhibit 2 or 3 of their photographs along with Miss Meenal's photographs. The marketing of the website domain is part of marketing plan and will consist of registering with various search engines and business indexes. Appropriate meta tags. Information will be inserted after finalizing the content of pages. The site also will have visitor tracking codes inserted to help in fine-tuning the website content to attract traffic. Once you know what the client expects to be put on website, you can start creating the visual mind map on a paper. Using the visual mind map, you can plan the outlay of pages as discussed with the client based on the text, graphics, and other material given. For example, you may decide that the information about the company in detail should be placed in the About Us page instead of the Home page. Images given by the client should be placed in the gallery page, etc. Show the visual mind map to the client and discuss the flow of information in terms of navigation. Based on the visual mind map, you can start creating a hierarchical storyboard. While creating the storyboard, discuss the navigation between the web pages with the client. This will help you to create a systematic storyboard. The storyboard and the navigation procedure go hand in hand. While designing the navigation, make sure you name all the pages appropriately. On the basis of the content and graphics provided, create 2 rough layouts for the home page and 2 rough layouts for the inner page. Show this to the client and let the client finalize one of the layouts. Refer to the finalized layout and create the home page and the About Us page in Photoshop. Take care to use guides to align the elements in the web page. This will help you while using Slice tool in the Photoshop in the future labs. Show the layout to client.
Whenever you work on an assignment or a project, you must do research. Do you know anything about research done for web designing?
Yes, research is an important step after having a client brief. We need to conduct research on the type of client we are serving, his competitors, target audience, etc. Research on similar websites is also essential. We should know what is trending and what is new and modern.
Hello again. I hope you are learning new things through these sessions. We know that design and shapes are everywhere. From a normal table to your bedroom, you will find designs and shapes in different forms. Web designing is a popular topic that includes many such designs and shapes as the basic elements. This session starts with a few examples of geometrical polygons like the pentagon, icosagon, etc. Here, they explain hard and soft objects and specify their functions. It then explains a community indifference curve with an image and gives examples of masculine and feminine figures using angular and curved shapes. It then explains circular and curved shapes, squares, etc. with proper images from our life, activities, and surroundings. Next, it explains abstract or implied shapes with proper examples. Moving forward, it talks about the 2D structure of shapes in a design with its x and y axis, width and height. It then explains surfaces, planes, forms, volumes of shapes, etc. in a design and gives examples to show the role of basic shapes in the drawing. It is finally summed up with images of the 3D output of 2D planes. Thus, get ready to create some attractive designs.
Let me show few more types of polygon. Pentagon consists 5 sides. Hexagon of 6 sides. Heptagon of 7 sides. Octagon contains 8 sides. Nonagon contains 9 sides. Decagon contains 10 sides. Dodecagon 12 sides. Icosagon 20 sides. Various star-shaped polygons are pentagram contains 5 points. Hexagram 6 sides. Heptagram 7 points. The shapes made with straight lines and angles usually symbolizes structure and used for drawing hard objects like building blocks, while the shapes made with curves appear as softer objects and represent connection and community. Here above figure IC1, IC2 and IC3 represent a community indifference map. The combinations A, B and C lie on its IC1, IC2 and IC3 respectively. Hence, higher the indifference curve, higher is the level of satisfaction and vice versa. You can suggest masculine using angular shapes, while with the curved shapes can suggest femininity. Showing it using this downloaded image from the internet. Circular shape has no beginning or end. They are also connected to the idea of cycles, eternity, and timelessness. So, they represent unity, wholeness, and infinity. As you have noticed, I am showing those examples for each one by one. Curved shapes offer rhythm and movement, happiness, and joyness. Such another curved shapes, spirals, are expressions of creativity. They are often found in the natural growth pattern of many organisms and suggest the process of growth and evolution. Double spirals can be used to symbolize opposing forces. They are cycles of time, life, and the seasons, and are a common shape in religious and mystical symbolism. Spirals can be used to suggest returning to the same point on a journey, the projection of an intense, and when it is clockwise, the fulfillment of an intention when counterclockwise, the release of energy and flexibility through transformation, fertility, birth, death, rebirth, expansion, and transformation. Squares and rectangles suggest consistency, peace, strictness, security, and equality. A sample example can be this website. Every element on a web page is defined by a rectangular area. Web pages are rectangles made up of smaller rectangles and squares. Triangle shapes look stable when sitting on their base and unstable when it's not. They represent dynamic tension, action, and aggression. Triangles have energy and power, and their stable, unstable dynamic can suggest either conflict or steady strength. They are balanced and can be a symbol for law, science, and religion. Triangles can direct movement based which way they point. They can be used to suggest familiar things like pyramids, arrows, and finance. Spiritually, they represent the religious trinity. They can suggest self-discovery and revelation. The strength of triangles suggests masculinity. Their dynamic nature makes them better suited to a growing high-tech company than a stable financial institution when designing a logo. Triangles can be used to convey progression, direction, and purpose. We use shapes to add and maintain interest in a design. Shapes of different visual weight can be used to create focal points in a design and direct the flow of a design. Shapes organize elements by separating some and connecting others. Next, abstract shapes, often called as implied shape. The definition can be like these shapes represent a theme available in nature, but does not appear perfectly like a representative. In another way, I can describe these shapes physically does not exist, but your brain fills the blanks, visually connects it through dots, lines, color, and it has appeared as shape. Notice very often we see the use of this posture to express the love. These kinds of shapes are very useful in our modern life to depict a message appears as a symbol. Here are few more examples. First, taking a circle, then a cone shape taken out from each. Now 3 these kinds of shapes using to place in such a manner that most of us see is a floating white triangle. Our mind instantly perceives the visual information as a whole, even though that whole does not exist. Similarly, we have used 5 dots to make a formation of star, or have used 4 dots to make a formation of a rectangle. Here's another one that's a little off bit different to make a sark. Suppose I'm having few rectangular and circular shapes. Placing one circular shape on top of a rectangle looks like English alphabet I, but does not produce any such strong meaning. Now, if I added 2 more small rectangles, rotating them 45 degrees and placing those on either side of the large rectangle facing downward and keeping aligned with its stoppage, along with those 2 more rectangles in bottom, and this time it appears as if the extended part of the above one divided here. Now it will appear as a stick figure that represents a person. The shapes we perceive as figure shapes we call positive shapes. The shapes of the ground are negative shapes. Shape depicts 2 dimensions in a design using the x-axis for width and the y-axis for height. Sometimes we identify any shape by calling it as plane or surface to clarify the design composition. Actually, shape, plane, surface, all these names get interchanged a lot depending upon the situation. There is a dispute about a name when a shape is depicted with its depth. According to someone, the depth of a 2-dimensional object is called the form, while someone else says defining depth of a shape will be its volume, not the form. For the sake of convenience, we will call it as volume, another basic element of design that will appear as soon as the z-axis for the 3rd dimension will be implemented over the 2-dimensional sketch. It is helpful to understand the direction or position of the light source. Then determine the work planes shall be in the light half turned or inside off. A 2-dimensional square is made out of 1-dimensional lines. Similarly, a 3-dimensional cube is composed of a 2-dimensional square. Thus, construction of shapes gives them a unique hierarchy where particular shapes have analogues at different dimensions. A sphere is a 3D analog of a 2D circle, and a tetrahedron is a 3D analog of a 2D triangle. I have drawn few very easy to understand compositions to depict the role of basic shapes in drawing, and then how the output can produce a minimum attraction. I have tried to show the volume or the 3rd-dimensional output of few 2-dimensional planes. So that's it in this module. Thank you.
While researching, we come across multiple websites online. Which one do you think is the best out of them?
Yes, I think the best website I have come across is makemytrip.com because it provides a smooth hotel searching and flight booking experience. According to reports from research, the flyhire.com site to book a personal aircraft is also one of the best websites, and I like it as well.